everyone. My name is Estrella-Auger. I'm an artist and a BQH practitioner, and I'm located in Palm Beach County here in South Florida. I'd like to thank Candace for the invitation to participate here in Worldwide Regression Week so that I can talk to you more about what it is that I do and what it's like to have a session with me. You could find me and my work on Facebook and YouTube under my business name, Star Energy Arts. And I offer meditation and art workshops. I offer sound healing for you and your pets. I use the solfeggio tuning fork frequencies to do the sound healing sessions. And of course, I offer BQH sessions. And during my BQH sessions, I also offer water alchemy, the sound healing with tuning forks, and crystals. During the Beyond Quantum Healing sessions, when someone reaches out to have a session, the connection between us immediately starts to occur. What that means is I'll start getting messages from that person's higher self immediately after we connect with each other. Once we've talked and we make the appointment, I also start to get messages from the crystals because I've been working with crystals for about 30 years and they speak to me. So before I meet up with someone, from the day that we talk all the way to the day of your appointment, I'll have crystals around my house kind of calling me to them and telling me that they want to be part of a crystal grid for your session. You know, basically they're like, I want to be there for the session. And so I basically listen for the crystals to call out, then I collect them all and use them in the grid for you, specifically for you. So another thing that happens is I'll contact you via email and, just give you kind of a list of things that will help you prepare. Two of the most important things are things that I need to facilitate a good session for you. One of them is an email with you, giving me an introduction about yourself and a little bit about your background. I'd like you to kind of go into a little more detail in an email so that I have like a nice full background before we meet. And then we can elaborate on what it is that you wrote. I might have some questions for you about some of the things you wrote, and we'll go over all of that on the day of your session. The second important thing is you should have your questions ready. So anything that you want to know about your life, whether it's about family, career, relationships, past lives, anything at all. It's very easy to get carried away and maybe end up with 50 questions. I'm happy to accommodate you for however many questions you have, but just to warn you, not all questions get answered when you have that many, and sometimes they do get answered throughout your session without my having to ask them at all, because your higher self will see you writing these questions down. They'll know exactly what it is that you want to ask, and they'll often bring it up during the session, even before I have a chance to say anything. So those are the two most important things you have to prepare before your session. And then for more basic things, I ask you, just to practice some meditation, nothing too crazy. I mean, if you're already someone who meditates regularly, this will be no problem for you. If you don't meditate regularly, what it is that I suggest is when you're alone and you're taking a shower, use that time to connect to your higher self and put in the intention that you're ready to connect, that you're ready to speak and to hear, all the messages that your higher self has for you. And it'll really start to get that energy flowing so that on the day of your session, you'll be feeling that connection a little stronger than you normally would. Another basic is no alcohol or caffeine on the day of your session. I recommend having a light meal before you start your session. A session with me is about 4 hours. The first part of the session, for the first hour, we'll chat and we'll go over, your background, we'll go over your questions. I also do water alchemy. This takes place after we have our discussion about, your background. We then each have a glass of water. We put the intention for the session into the water, and the intention for the session is usually based upon, why you wanted your session and kind of an outline of all the questions that you have. So together we'll come up with an intention before we do our water alchemy. We'll place our intention into the water based on the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. And I'm sure that if you are a fan of quantum healing, beyond quantum healing, you know all about the late Dr. Masaru Emoto's work with water and how our intentions can change the, chemical balance of the water. So that's what we're doing during water alchemy. And once we've done that, that's when I start with the tuning forks, just to help with any additional healing that you may need. The tuning forks that I use, I'm just going to give you a simple little demonstration. These are the tuning forks I use. And I use these during sessions, whether it's online or in person. These really help you to relax. It actually clears your energy field. This is another way that I connect with my clients before we actually have a session, is I will intuitively know which tuning forks it is that I need to use for you, because every tuning fork has a different frequency that works differently for what you need in terms of healing or cleansing in your energy field. It all depends on what's going on. My higher self will guide me, and I trust deeply in that I will be using the right tuning fork for each particular client. And then once I do that, I'll go into the induction. I often, continue using the tuning forks through the induction. And once the induction takes place, that's when you start to connect to your higher self. I mean, you're always connected anyway, but that's when your higher self will start the communication process. It'll start showing you different images. I'll talk you through all those images to find out where you are, and we'll start figuring out what past life you're seeing. And we'll just allow your higher self to guide us through that entire journey, which will usually be anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, depending on how much information your higher self has for you. For the majority of clients that I've had, they always see a past life from Earth as well as a galactic past life. I would say about 80 to 90% of the clients I have all have some connection to another planet, another galaxy, other beings. I have a very strong connection to Sirius and to Lyra, and to the Hyades. The Hyades is a star system where the ascended master lion beings lived. That star system got destroyed, and then they went to Lyra, and of course we all know the history of Lyra and how that star system got destroyed. So I'm still trying to find more information in terms of my connection to Hyades, but that's a whole other story. I just wanted to give you a little background about myself and where my connections are, because I find that in picking your practitioner, you want somebody that's going to be able to connect to you and what it is that you're looking for during your session. So if you're a starseed, if you're someone who feels highly connected to the stars, to the galaxy, to other planets, star systems, yeah, you could come to me because I connect really well. That's where my connections are strongest. I also find that creatives are attracted to me as well as I am to them. Artists, musicians, writers, anyone who likes to be creative. I have a strong connection with people like that, and our sessions go really well. I personally, as an artist, have connected with the spirits and energies of other artists who have passed that have influenced me highly in my life. During one of my sessions, my first session, I connected to the energy of Vincent van Gogh. I thought that he was a past life, but what it turned out to be is that he was soul family. And, you know, that energy was needed in my life to bring me into the career path of art, because I had a lot of obstacles throughout my life about not becoming an artist. Again, another long story. But just wanted to give you the background that if you're a creative person and you're feeling some sort of connection with me, give me a call. We'll talk about, a session. And, if you have any kind of connections with Van Gogh, other artists I've connected to have been Frida Kahlo, because she was also very inspirational in my life. And Jackson Pollock, actually. And that happened because I was putting together an art workshop on how to paint like Jackson Pollock, and I connected to his energy. And my God, like, the man has like some intense energy. And he kind of led me through the planning of the entire workshop. It's a great story that I'll have to tell at some time. Usually there's always a stopping point where I can start asking questions. And I usually, I'm a perfectionist, so I always do my best to get every single question answered. So far, I have done so. If a question is not answered, the higher self always says they're not ready, or they'll need to ask me during meditation. It always gives some kind of answer, even if you're not getting the answer. And then I find with clients later on who have had, instruction, to meditate further, they'll let me know, they'll report back and say, oh my goodness, I actually got the answer to the question when I meditated on it. So, with that said, this is one of the reasons why I love this modality so much. I feel that this modality, it really empowers the client. It's not me channeling your higher self for you. It's not me doing a reading and telling you what's going on. It's none of that. I'm not manipulating anything. I'm simply helping you to relax and guiding you through the process, but you and your higher self are doing all the work. It's an experience that, I don't know, there's no words for it, basically. I feel that we're evolving towards living lives as our higher selves. And what that means to me is that, yes, you can connect to your higher self through meditation, through hypnosis, but are you going to hypnotize yourself every day to get the answers you need to navigate your life? Prior to my session, I was only able to connect to my higher self through meditation. When I had my session, the connection was immediate, and it confirmed to me that I was actually connecting to my higher self before that through meditation, which was great. But the connection kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger even after that session. And I got to the point where I was actually able to speak to my higher self completely conscious, like doing dishes one day and then just asking my higher self a question and getting an answer immediately. A lot of us go through this sometimes where we'll just get like this spark of inspiration. We have to write it down, right? Or we'll get this idea, or we'll think about somebody and then say, oh, let me call them later. These are all connections from your higher self. But because of like all the chaos out there, it's hard to hear those messages, when you're in the midst of conflict. So I feel that what we're evolving to is to be able to still receive those messages, even when everything else is going wrong, receive them consciously and be able to navigate our lives better. It is something that I have been able to do with myself. I'm not going to say I'm an expert at it, because nobody is, I'm still learning. But my life has completely changed ever since I have been more open to my higher self, since I've been taking the advice of my higher self and just following all of those messages of inspiration that come to me. It's something that I feel is really important for everyone to be in tune with. And this modality is my favorite modality because experience is the best teacher, right? I mean, at least that's my belief, is that experience is the best teacher. Yes, you can have teachers, teach you things, and there are many things in life that we need to learn by, having somebody talk us through each step. But sometimes we really need to experience something. We can go and have a class on how to connect to a higher self. You could try to do it at home, and maybe it won't work right away because you're still confused about how this whole thing works and you're feeling a little afraid. So you might want to have a BQH session and experience that connection for yourself, because once you experience that, there's no turning back. So if you're feeling called to have a session with me, please feel free to reach out. You can email me at starenergyarts@gmail.com. I'll have that written out below. And you can also PM me on Facebook through my business page, Star Energy Arts. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to hear from you sometime soon. Bye.